If you've tried out all the steps in the first video from this series and your motorcycle still has heating issues, this video should help sort that out. I'm Augie F. Welcome to the channel. Now in the first video from this series, we spoke about cleaning your radiator, how to make sure that it's well protected, and also making sure that there's enough air flowing through your radiator to make sure that it cleans quickly. In today's video, we'll be talking about the fluids that keep your motorcycle at its optimum operating temperature. Firstly, let's talk about engine oil. Now, all engine oils aren't the same. There's different grades specified for different types of motorcycles. And if you're not sure which oil you should be using for your motorcycle, well, your owner's manual is a good place to start. My 2015 KTM RC390's owner's manual suggests that I should be using a 15W50 engine oil. If you're confused by the numbers, don't worry, I'll explain. The first number, followed by the letter W, and the W stands for winter, describes the viscosity of oil at low temperatures. The lower this number, the better it is for your engine oil to flow through your engine and lubricate the different components. If this number is higher and the oil is thick during startup, it might not be able to lubricate the different components easily because it doesn't flow through the entire system, and this could cause long-term problems. The second number describes how thick the oil is at the engine's normal operating temperature. Now, the normal operating temperature for your motorcycle may be different from my motorcycle, and it varies from one motorcycle to another. So it's important that you have a look at the owner's manual and figure this number out. Again, if the engine oil tends to get thinner at higher operating temperatures, which your motorcycle might be running at, this could result in your engine components not being lubricated well enough, and that in turn could result in your motorcycle overheating and the engine components wearing out a lot quicker. Now that you've selected the right oil grade for your motorcycle's engine, it's time to check whether there's the right amount of oil in the motorcycle itself. If there's very little oil in your engine, it results in your engine not being lubricated well enough, which could lead to wear and tear of the engine components and also cause your motorcycle to heat a lot quicker now. If there's too much engine oil in your motorcycle's engine, that's a whole other set of problems you're asking for too. So avoid that. We'll talk about how to check the engine oil level soon. Again, your motorcycle's owner's manual will guide you on how to check the engine oil level. On the KTM RC390 and on most motorcycles, with the engine at its operating temperature, hold the motorcycle upright on a horizontal surface, avoid using a paddock stand or any other stand which you've got, and check if the engine oil level is between the upper and lower edge of the oil level viewer on the right hand side of the engine. If the engine oil is lower than the minimum level on the oil viewer, you want to pour a little more engine oil into your motorcycle until it reaches between those two markings. That's the ideal spot. Another important thing to keep in mind is to give your motorcycle a minute or two to warm up before you actually take it out for a ride. Most of the damage to your engine components happens during startup because there's not enough oil flowing through the engine and the engine components aren't lubricated well enough. You don't want to be revving the hell out of your engine when you just started up.
No, wrong. Those are You are not a Don't be a
Next up, we'll talk about your motorcycle's coolant. Now, there's different coolant manufacturers making different claims and so many different colors available in coolants as well. It could get very confusing. Personally, the one coolant which I've used on range that has made the most amount of difference has been engine ice, and I've been using it for the last few years now. In simple terms, your engine coolant flows through the engine and absorbs the heat from there. The hot coolant then flows through the radiator and is cooled down before it's then passed back into the engine to absorb heat once again. It keeps going through the cycle to make sure that your engine is running at its normal operating temperature. Now, while there's not much you can do to make sure that your motorcycle's coolant is flowing through effectively without spending a lot of money, what you can do is keep a check of your engine coolant levels, and that's important. To do this, your motorcycle owner's manual is the best place to look. For the KTM RC390, when the engine is cold, you don't want to be working with hot coolant. It's never a pretty sight. Hold your motorcycle upright on a horizontal surface, do not use a paddock stand or any other stand for that matter, and check whether the coolant level is between the minimum and maximum markings on the compensating tank. If the coolant level is either below or at the minimum marking on the compensating tank, add a little more coolant so that it reaches that sweet spot between the minimum and maximum marking. If there's less coolant in your engine, it means that there's less heat being transferred from the engine, and that obviously results in more frequent overheating issues. Again, if you're having to top up your engine coolant very frequently, this means that there's some leakage in the system, and my best advice to you would be to take it to a service center and have that checked. That brings us to the end of episode number 2 from this series. We spoke about engine oils and we spoke about the engine coolant. If by some chance you're still facing issues with the heat management of your motorcycle, there's still episode number 3 coming up. And in that we'll be talking about maybe the most critical component of your motorcycle's coolant system, the radiator fan. Now there is something you can do about it, but you will have to pay a little bit of money to buy the components to make those changes. Watching this video though is free. If you found the information on this video useful, support the video with a thumbs up. It not only helps the channel, it also helps other viewers like yourself find this video specifically to help address their heating issues a lot more easily when they search on YouTube or on Google. You know how the internet works. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please click that red button on the bottom right hand side of your screen and click the bell icon as well to stay notified about future uploads. Also, there is OGF merch available for those of you who have been long-time subscribers of the channel. T-shirts, badges, stickers, keychains and a whole lot of other stuff is available at 100 kmph. The link is in the description. You can check it out, purchase whatever you want. It helps support the channel also. Thank you again so much for taking time to watch this video. I hope the information was helpful. And as always, at least wear your helmets while riding your motorcycles and ride safe. It's a freaking jungle out there. Goodbye.
Parcel the great bag came up, you can't hate that. Self-made, you can't take that. Yeah, self-made, you can't make that. Some said I need a record deal, I need a co-sign, I need a Dre track. But all the time I had a mean flow, I had a cold grind, and that's a great match. Payback, codes and I make racks. And my pockets gon' stay fat, cause I murk beats and I slay.